So I just hit the start button. So thank you very much for giving me the 5 minutes to present to the board. Can everybody see my presentation?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. I wanted to thank the Board of Health and the chair for giving me the opportunity to speak. Since last we met, I did present a lot of information, so I'm not going to repeat much of it. I'm going to cover some new stuff and just focus in on some feedback that I've gotten from some of the other boards. So we do have last we talked, I presented the information, and I did submit a citizens petition. And the citizens petition is very laser focused. It's specifically opposing the addition of fluoride in order to stop exposing vulnerable subpopulations, such as pregnant women, to fluoridated water due to an unreasonable risk. That's important because it's a risk. It doesn't have to be causation or proof of harm, right? It has to be a risk versus a proof of safety is a higher bar. And also without any benefit to the child's teeth, because I think a lot of people don't want to weigh that risk reward. And I provided information to show that there isn't any benefit to the child's teeth when pregnant women drink the water, per the CDC. I'm going to skip around my presentation a little bit. So a lot of I heard about, I've been some of the, from some of the town, either board members or town meeting members, and saying I've been cherry picking the studies, but I wanted to say that since 2016, there have been 4 NIH-funded Merck element birth cohort studies that have shown an association between fluoride and this is systematic, right? The drinking of fluoridated water or ingesting fluoride, not the topical use. And I'm going to say it's not me that's cherry picking. This is actual court document from the lawsuit, which is this is the court saying this, right? So in particular, the studies arising out of the Merck element birth cohorts were all published after the EPA had denied plaintiff's petition, and this lawsuit had already been filed. Importantly, even EPA acknowledges that these studies are the highest quality, most reliable studies to date on the subject, and the judge cites these different things where even it's in stipulated fact where the EPA agrees. There's a disposition of EPA scientists saying that agreeing that epidemiological studies emerging from the element cohort were very well conducted, and agreeing that Dr. Lamphere, which I want you to remember that name, is an important lead person who has done very important and reliable research. And down at the bottom here, Dr. Chang for the EPA saying identifying the BOH green and till studies as the most rigorous from a methodological standpoint. So I just wanted to focus in on that. It's not just me cherry picking. I'm going to go down to number 14. So that's the risk of harm, right? So what EPA is saying is the best studies on neurodevelopment impact of fluoride, all showing an association. So, but if you go to say, well, what's the proof of safety? And I know the Board of Health instructed me to go off and find that. And what I did is I did find it in the court documents where you have the CDC under oath saying that it doesn't have any data on the tolerable upper fluoride intake for neurotoxic effect on children. That means they do not know the safe level. So that you cannot say it is safe for this specific subpopulation. So a lot of times people say, well, it's safe and effective, but you can't just take that broad brush and put it across everybody now, because the CDC has admitted under oath they have no safety data for the neurotoxic effects on children. I wanted to show some of the new things too. There was Board of Selectmen had asked about the fluoride status in the towns. So the green is not fluoridated. So you can see like Worcester is not fluoridated. All these green towns around us do not add fluoride. That's about 70, I'll say 3/4 of the population does not drink fluoride in its water in our area. We are of the minority of 25% of these towns, population wise. And you also have, just in our Central Mass Health Alliance, I just did a little thing here too that says 81% of the population in our health alliance do not drink fluoridated water, and only Shrewsbury and Holden population do, which is 20%. Then there was some challenge on the effect on the IQ, saying, well, wouldn't we notice it? We would notice the effect of IQ. 5 IQ points, I look around and I don't notice a difference, but that is because you won't see a difference. And here is the distribution, and why I said to mention Lamphere is because he's the one that did this video, which I've sourced here, that shows you that a 5-point IQ drop results in a 57% increase in the number of children that are challenged from 6 million to 9.4 million, and a 60% decrease in the number of children that are gifted from 6 million to 2.4 million. And my time is up, but I just wanted to say that what the vote means. So if I can have just a second to show that. If you vote yes, then you're helping to stop exposing the vulnerable subpopulation, which is pregnant women and their fetus, right? We're stopping exposing them. But if you vote no, you are voting to continue the 70-year experiment on vulnerable subpopulations and continue to expose pregnant women and their fetus to fluoridated water, given the unreasonable risk to the child's brain, which I showed you with those EPA best studies, with no benefit to the teeth, which the CDC says under oath. So I just wanted to say what that vote means. Thank you. And thanks for the extra time.
Well, thank you, Brian. Appreciate that and keeping for your time. Are there any questions specifically for Brian from the board?
Yes. Are you able to share this presentation with us, Brian?
Yes, definitely. And also I have, each thing is cited. So for all of the quotes and everything, each thing is now has a link where you can actually, if you see any of the depositions, you can watch the video where I've got the different pictures selected out in the presentation. You go actually watch the video of them doing that, as well as any of the court documents I reference in here, which there's a great one, which is the summary, which contained that it pretty much summarizes a 2-week trial, where the judge summarizes it and cites it. So you can see where they're citing that the EPA agrees that these studies are the best studies on neurodevelopment, and that they are showing a risk, of neurotoxicity. So all of that is now cited in the presentation.
And one follow-up, do you know how much the town spends on fluoride per year and where we source it from?
Yeah, so we at the Finance Committee had asked this question, and it was a good question for Finance Committee to ask, because I know we're under this big budget crisis. We spend about approximately $10,000 a year on fluoride. The budget number is a little bit higher, but it's around 10,000, maybe a little less. The source, which I had confirmed with the town, is from China. We did confirm, I did have them actually confirm with the source where it is coming from, because it has been said in the past that it does not come from the phosphate fertilizer industry. However, they have confirmed that it does originate from the phosphate fertilizer industry in China. And they gave a trail of information. I do have that email as well, that email trail that shows you where it's coming from and how it's made in the different factories in China. And that it does come from the byproduct of the phosphate fertilizer industry in China.
Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Abraham, do you have any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair. I'd also like to review the information presented.
Okay. Unless there are any other questions, I think we need to take a roll call vote. As Brian said, a yes vote would recommend to town meeting the passage of Article 36. A no vote does not recommend the article. So I'll take a roll call vote. Dr. Abraham?
Motion to defer so we can review the documentation provided.
Well, the only thing here is that we're doing this today mainly because we're trying to whether or not to recommend the article at town meeting, which is May 22nd.
Oh, I see. Okay. Then I'm going to say no.
Okay, Jenny Fishman?
I vote yay.
Steve Bish and I vote no, so the motion does not pass. So Article 36 is not recommended by the board. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.